Tsunderes. If you've watched anime long enough, chances are you've heard of this term. But for those of you who doesn't know what this means, it's an archetype typically seen in romance animes. It's basically a type of character that doesn't want to show their true feelings to the opposite party. You might recognize them by their classic pouts, their blushes, their classic lines,
勘違いしないでよね。勘違いしないでよね。勘違いしないでよね。私は別にどうってこ私は別に
coupled with verbal abuse and physical violence. Then you have yourself a tsundere. Do you have someone in your life that's always calling you names and beating the shit out of you? If yes, they're probably a tsundere. Did you ask someone out recently only to get rejected? Plus they called you a piece of shit? Don't give up! They're just not being true to their feelings. Stay positive! However, the people's image of tsunderes have been more and more on the negative side of the spectrum. Many people nowadays find them annoying, abusive, and just being a bitch. I wonder how did they got that impression, huh? It's like people just collectively realize that this type of behavior is kinda shit, isn't it? But there was a time that tsunderes dominated the anime sphere. Many weebs wanted to get stepped on and beaten up by their favorite tsundere waifus. I, for one, was one of those people. But how did this become a trend in the first place? What constitutes as a tsundere? Are tsunderes extinct? We'll try to answer these questions and maybe more in this video.
I hate tsunderes, and let me tell you why.
The violent tsundere is, not really my thing.
Tsunderes are not misunderstood. They are bitches.
I just can't do the tsundere lollies, man. I just can't. And like, this is yet again another Kugimi idea character. I just can't. I can't.
Tsunderes have existed long before anime was even conceptualized. But the term itself was coined in the early 2000s by Ken Akumatsu, creator of titles such as Love Hina, Negima Magister Negimagi, Ground Defense Force Mao-chan, Yukyu Holder, and I Love You.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
He lists that tsunderes are special cases of moe, in the sense that moe characters are subject of protection, but in tsunderes, the roles are reversed, where tsunderes are independent unlike many moe characters. But the very first tsundere character in animated form was not created by Ken Akumatsu. Many sources claim that the source of tsundere as well as moe was Loom Invader from 1981's Urusei Yatsura. But there was an anime far earlier before that. It's a character named Pipiko from an anime called Umi no Triton, where the first episode aired in the April of 1972. And here, we see the typical mannerisms and behavior of many modern tsunderes. Yeah, I don't know about that. So now that we have established that tsunderes are at least 50 years old now, let's try to answer on why and how it got big. The popularity of tsundere coincides with the rise of moe. Moe is basically an unwritten genre in anime where cute anime girls are doing cute anime girl things. There's a really good video about the rise of moe by this guy called Gig UK, so I suggest you check that out. Somewhere in that video, he states that the branding of these shows helped a lot in catapulting the popularity of moe, especially with Asuka of Evangelion, who I think is the one that put tsunderes in the mainstream. And what helped that was the amount of branding behind Evangelion. It brought many people together and care so much about this one specific fictional character. At this point in time, tsunderes are going in the hearts of public. So, where did it all go wrong? Luis from the familiar of Zero, Taiga from Toradora, and Kirino from Oreimo. These three, in my opinion, are the ones who shat in everybody's mouth. During the mid-2000s, there was a boom in Tsunderes. Many Tsundere characters started popping up, but these three shows in particular took the Tsun aspect to the extreme and made these three characters embody that violent and annoying side of Tsundere. I know there are more characters that could be argued that made Tsunderes annoying, but these three I feel are the ones who grabbed the most attention. At first, people responded quite well with these shows. Some people didn't like, especially how they treat the main character, but most people saw them as just being cute and quirky, I guess. But over the years, people realized that, they were being a total bitch. It's like everybody just went through a toxic relationship, and when they finally get out, they realize, wow, that wasn't a healthy relationship from the very beginning, huh? These Tsunderes will be known as the Type A Tsunderes. So what makes a Tsundere a Tsundere?
ツンデレって何？超攻撃的異常恋愛感情のことをそう呼ぶ。アメリカの犯罪心理学での専門用語だ。
In relation to the characteristics we mentioned earlier, a tsundere is a character that is usually depicted as harsh and high-tempered, with violent tendencies, but occasionally treats the main character like a normal human being. So, basically, a bitch. Going by this logic, can we identify different characters as tsundere? Is being a bitch a staple of all tsunderes? Then, are these girls tsundere? Is Hank Schrader from the hit show Breaking Bad a tsundere?
Sussy baka!
No. However, not all tsunderes are annoying, believe it or not. There are some who are more on the dere side than the tsun side of things, where a tsundere does not resort to physical violence. These are your Type B tsunderes. Makisei Kurisu from Steins Gate is a good example of that. Aside from being a top-tier waifu, Kurisu has something that makes her superior from other tsunderes. Not being a bitch. She's still in conflict with her feelings, just like the others, but she doesn't actively hate the main protagonist, and that's what makes her special.
知らないわよ。
いや確かに知ってる反応だったな。
知らないったら知らないってば。
Now we move on to the final question. Does tsundere still exist? Was it even real in the first place? Short answer is yes, they do exist. And they still do. However, you don't see a lot of Type A tsunderes more often these days. Maybe it's because of people's response against it. Last Type A tsundere I remember was Shitake from Nesekoi, but I could be wrong, so feel free to correct me in the comments. I don't watch a lot of anime these days. But there are more examples of Type A tsunderes in the recent years. Kaguya from Love is War, Mai from Badinger Senpai, Erina from Food Wars, and many more. Unlike your traditional Type A tsunderes, this new generation of tsunderes are more mellowed down, focusing on the direction of character just having trouble to express their feelings. Some still harbor that high-tempered, harsh aspect, but minus the abuse. So I guess if you just subtracted the bitchy traits of a tsundere, then you're just left with the character that's just trying their best to be better and look cute while doing it.
どうして会長がいるの？
いや、そう。
今日からうちに住むの？聞いてない！
すまないすまないか
In conclusion, the legacy of the tsunderes still prevails. They may seem to have dwindled in numbers, but you still feel the little quirkiness and features that the OGs left to the newer generation. I guess what I can take away with this is that life is a tsundere. At times, it's harsh, beats the shit out of you, and leaves you helpless. But at times, it's sweet, and gives you a little hope with each passing day. So I guess you could say that life is a bitch. And I've been Milkfish, signing out.